Have you ever stopped to think about what actually happens when the single greatest feeling in the world turns into a literal biological survival threat? From a really young age, we're told that love is the ultimate human experience, right? But today, we're going to explore a much darker reality. Let's dive into this explainer and unpack the hidden, frankly dangerous architecture of obsession, manipulation, and the very real physical peril that can completely hide behind the illusion of romance. To really grasp this, we have to entirely change how we think about human attraction. Research shows us that the neuromechanisms that drive intense romantic attachment, they're virtually indistinguishable from those governing substance use disorders. No joke, it is a complete hijacking of the human brain. You think you're just falling in love, but neurologically speaking, your brain is reacting exactly the same way it would to a dangerous drug addiction. Phase 1. The intoxicating trap, the illusion of perfection. Let's start our descent. Now, the beginning of these toxic relationships, it doesn't feel dangerous at all. In fact, it feels incredible. It's this intense idealization phase we call love bombing. Imagine this. You hear those 3 magic words within just days of meeting someone. Your phone is literally blowing up with endless texts, calls, just excessive affection. And your brain, it is being electrified. This rapid-fire intensity completely overloads your brain's reward center. It's a natural high that is so profound, you instantly start believing the script. You think, wow, I've really hit the romantic jackpot. And the science behind that unbelievable rush is a state we call limerence. Simply put, your brain is absolutely saturated with dopamine and norepinephrine. You've got this intense focus, endless energy, and a real, undeniable craving for this person. But at the exact same time, your serotonin levels completely plummet. This specific, imbalanced chemical cocktail creates thoughts and actions that are strikingly similar to obsessive-compulsive disorder. You literally, physically cannot stop thinking about them. Phase 2, the agony of rejection, when the warmth withdraws. This is where the terrifying confusion kicks in. That intense warmth is suddenly withdrawn, and it's replaced by silence, maybe criticism, or just outright cruelty. Picture this very visceral scenario. You're sitting all alone in a dark room, just staring at a text left on read. Now, in a healthy dynamic, you'd think, they're just busy. But here, your brain is chemically hooked. Rejection sensitivity kicks in and turns this minor slight into a literal threat to your survival. Cortisol spikes. You are in full-blown panic mode, reacting frantically just to try and get that initial high back. And this triggers a silent, brutal mental war known as cognitive dissonance. You are suddenly holding 2 entirely contradictory realities in your head at the exact same time. You've got the beautiful illusion of the loving soulmate on one hand versus the brutal reality of their emotional cruelty on the other. And because that initial love felt so incredibly profound, you start rationalizing the abuse. You actually doubt your own reality, convincing yourself, well, they only act this way because they care so much. Or if I just try a little harder, that perfect partner is going to come back. Phase 3, the slot machine of abuse, the chemistry of the trauma bond. Okay, it's absolutely crucial we adopt a serious lens here, because this right here explains why incredibly smart, successful people simply cannot just walk away. It's called intermittent reinforcement, and it operates exactly like a slot machine in a casino. The abuser alternates between devaluation, so coldness and rage, and idealization, the apologies and the warmth. This highly unpredictable return of affection creates a craving that behavioral psychology tells us is the single most resistant to extinction. It is neurologically identical to a severe gambling addiction. Let's look at the actual neurobiological hijack happening inside you. The sudden pivot from terror to safety is devastatingly effective. First, the abuse spikes your cortisol. You are terrified. Then, out of nowhere, the sudden apology floods your brain with dopamine and oxytocin. Because of this massive swing, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and reasoning, literally shuts down under the high emotional arousal. And your amygdala, your survival center, completely takes over. So your brain falsely registers this huge comical relief from terror as a profound soulmate-level connection. It is not love. It is relief. Let that sink in for a second. You are confusing the intense relief of the abuse temporarily stopping with a feeling of genuine love. And this creates the intensely isolating reality of the driven survivor. You might be a highly competent professional, right? Maybe managing a huge team at work with perfect, flawless logic. But at home, you feel like a terrified, dependent child. And you constantly ask yourself, how can I be so incredibly smart at work and so stupid at home? But here is the absolutely crucial point. You aren't stupid. This is a physiological hijacking. It is not a cognitive failure. Phase 4, when love turns lethal, the forensic reality. These psychological traps, they can quickly and tragically devolve into severe physical danger. Access to a gun makes it 5 times more likely that an abusive partner will kill their female victim. 5 times. The data here is absolutely staggering, and it demands our attention. When we look at high-income nations, 92% of all women killed with guns in an average year are from the United States. 92%. It's a uniquely lethal intimate partner violence problem, and it's driven by abusers exploiting firearms as the ultimate tool of coercive control and intimidation. 70. Every single month in the United States, an average of more than 70 women are shot and killed by an intimate partner. This isn't just a bad relationship anymore, guys. This is a forensic reality. And you know, these tragedies are rarely random acts of violence. They follow a very predictable escalation. The warnings are clear. You'll see an increase in the severity of the violence, the abuser acquiring a weapon, an obsession that leads to stalking, and highly dangerous periods like a recent separation or breakup. When the abuser feels their control slipping, the threat of lethality absolutely skyrockets. Phase 5, breaking the invisible chains, surviving the withdrawal. So, what does this all mean? How do we climb out of this darkness? Well, it is an arduous process for sure, but surviving the withdrawal is entirely possible. First, we have to adopt what we call the both/and framework. A major barrier to leaving is feeling like you somehow have to deny the love you felt. You don't. Both truths can exist at once. The moments of joy and connection you experienced felt very real to you, and at the exact same time, this relationship is fundamentally toxic and destroying your nervous system. You must validate your genuine feelings while absolutely refusing to tolerate the abuse. This actually brings us to why telling a victim to just leave is incredibly dangerous, systemic advice. It completely ignores the severe neurochemical withdrawal they're gonna face. Honestly, it's like telling a gambler to just stop playing the slots. Furthermore, as we just saw in the forensic data, the physical act of separation is very often the most physically dangerous time for a victim. It requires immense structural and psychological scaffolding to do safely. Breaking a trauma bond is not a single event. It is a biological detox. Step 1 is implementing a strict no contact to completely sever that intermittent reinforcement. Any text or even a quick look at their social media keeps your brain's reward system fully hooked. Step 2 is enduring the actual neurobiological withdrawal. It's hard. And step 3 is seeking trauma-informed professional help to recalibrate your nervous system and finally understand the core wounds that made you susceptible to this in the first place. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one really powerful, provocative thought to help reflect on your own attachments. Look at the relationships in your life right now and ask yourself, are you choosing from a wound, seeking the chaotic relief of a familiar pain? Or are you choosing from desire, seeking genuine, peaceful, and consistent love? Think about it, because the answer changes absolutely everything.